there's problematic language in that, but he's talking in general with anyone that is outside of his religious worldview.
Mm-hmm.
There is an occult element at the high levels of society, and specifically among the Jews. So many of the people that are perpetrating the lies and the destruction on the country, they are evildoers. They are people that worship false gods. They are people that practice magic or rituals or whatever. And more than anything, those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty. Straight up. And I'm far more concerned about that than I am about even non-white people or mass migration. These people that are communing with demons and engaging in this sort of witchcraft and stuff, and these people that are suppressing the name Christ and suppressing Christianity, they must be absolutely annihilated when we take power. This is God's country. This is Jesus' country. This is not the domain of atheists or devil worshippers or perfidious Jews. This is Christ's country.
And for this one video that we just watched, there are hundreds more like this of Nick saying things that if you said this at the dinner table, everyone in your family would think you'd lost it. And we're not talking just about, because I can have an argument with someone about Tucker and someone say, I don't think he's actually an anti-Semite. We can agree to disagree. And I can feel like he's moving down that path. Or we can have that discussion about Candace Owens. And I can see where someone's going to say, no, she's not. And I'm going to say, yeah, I believe she is. But we can agree to disagree. With Nick Fuentes, it is not just about the state of Israel or Christian Zionism, which Tucker claimed yesterday. And was talking about, which that's a whole other like problematic part of the podcast.
Yeah, I think we can do a whole other podcast on that one.
Right. But with Nick, he is not just against the state of Israel. He is against and speaks very clearly and openly about his disdain for Jewry, which is what he calls it. He talks about his disdain for Black people, Hispanics, mass immigration. He talks about women and says they're disgusting, they're inferior, they're beneath him, they must be subordinate. He talks about and has made really problematic conversation about underage females. He has said on and on and on. He has said extremely, I hate the word problematic too, because it's not like it's maybe a problem. He just says really disgusting, vile things, and it can't be argued against. And so my whole point, and actually the comments on my reel kind of prove my point a little bit about why it was a mistake for Tucker to have Nick Fuentes on, because everybody in my comments who was pro this interview is like, no, we just need to let people talk and the good will rise to the top. And then these people are going to be exposed for who they are. This is good. You should want this. And tons of comments under my reel were like, oh my gosh, I had never heard about Nick Fuentes before this interview with Tucker. He actually didn't sound that bad. Like, I agreed with a lot of things he said. And if he's America first, well, we have that in common. And I went, that's it. That's it right there. He was able to get on that show and was given permission by Tucker and all of those editors and producers that were there to totally revise who he is as a person. That is not who he cleaned up to be, and how they stayed away from some extremely gross things that he has said and that he stands for. He was given permission to rewrite who he is for an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever, and kind of shine him up and make him a little bit more normal for like normie conservatives. And when I saw a bunch of women going, well, what's so bad about him? Like, from what I heard, yeah, maybe he said a couple of things I didn't really like, but if he's America first, great. And I went, that's the problem. There it is right there. Now he is.
But this is one thing I want to point out, because what is your definition of America first? And not you specifically.
That's what I'm saying. You're absolutely right.
Yep. Because my concern is like, let's put aside.
Good. I'm glad you're fired up about this, because I'm already too tired and I knew you were going to catch on to that. You're like, he is not America first.
Let's put aside the controversy of him being a sexist, racist, anti-Semite, and an actual religious nationalist, because I'm sorry, but I saw another clip of him where he was advocating it was the longer version of this clip where he is advocating for, like, if you do not submit to this religion, to this faith, that you deserve execution, that we need to get rid of you. Okay. Right. That is not the way. I'm sorry. That's not Christ-like. I don't know. I don't remember Jesus going around saying, submit to me or I'm going to cut your head off. Okay. Right. Or I'm going to execute you. Or that sounds like something else.
Sounds a little Sharia law to me. And everybody's all worried about that. So
yeah. So let me, like, I will actually, for anyone who just thinks I'm taking this out of context, I will dig up the 6-7 minute clip that I'm referencing.
Put some of those in the show notes.
So you can see the entire thing within its context. Okay.
But that's just my thing, is he was allowed to make himself sound palatable. And now there's hundreds of thousands of people who now know who Nick Fuentes is, and they only know him from how he has been constructed and put together on Tucker's show. And that's the whole thing.
This kid is smart. He is completely aware, and he's also very, like, hurt. Like, he's very insecure and hurt, which is why he's also kind of lashed out and reacted the way he has in the past.
Yeah.
And which is one of the things that Tucker sets up in that interview. It's like, oh, this poor guy.
You were very sympathetic. Very sympathetic.
Oh, and you were just, and I'm like, okay, yeah, he was just 18 years old, but that has carried on into his adulthood. So first of all, give me a break. But the other thing about the America First narrative, I want you to sit, a listener, I want you to sit and think, what does America First mean to you? Does America First mean that we end up like China? Does America First mean that we have a dictator that rules over us and that it's okay because everybody's in line and everybody's doing the same thing, or what's acceptable by this person? Because that is what he wants. He has shown admiration for China. And if you think I am lying, here, let's have Fuentes tell us about it.
You know, so I really seek to emulate China. I look at China, and China has its problems, no doubt. I mean, I don't live in China because I'm an American, but China has the fundamentals right. And China's a country that is led by Chinese people that care about China, that have emphasized Chinese culture. We don't have that. You know, we have a country where the elites are at war with the people. They're all foreigners. They're all multinational types. You know, they have houses everywhere in different countries, all over America. They live completely different lives, and they hate the people here. Regardless of what you think about Russia or China, I envy that they have an independence. We are not that way. Our leaders are part of multinational corporations. They're loyal to other nations like NATO, Japan, Israel, Saudi Arabia. And they're also loyal to, like, a nebulous liberal ideology. You know, they're loyal to capitalism or democracy or liberalism, but they're not loyal to the people. And so that, to me, that's the real divergence. I'm not a shill for any other nation, but I look at these countries and they don't have the problems we have. Nobody's afraid to walk the streets alone at night in China because they got real law and order. They got real police. Not so in America. I live in Chicago. We pay high taxes for crime, and they can't even chase the criminals. And so that's why when I hear people complain about China, I say we should be emulating that.
Well, okay, excuse me. My mother-in-law was born in China and her family fled. Also, people are afraid in China because, I don't know, let's just pick one of the many reasons why people are afraid to live there. There's no freedom of religion. You're told what you must believe. You're killed, arrested, tortured if you try and preach a different gospel than what they want. They butchered babies for years under a one-child policy because they own you. So, no, that's not America First.
Admiring what
I understand the whole cultural idea of what China is, but we have a culture here in America. People like to say we don't, but we do. And a lot of it was really, really, really beautiful. And then when people started getting this idea that we don't have this shared culture because we were fed bogus history, slowly it started fading. And then you get this where, they do have a culture. They're Chinese people. That's fine. But to act like there's nothing worthy and good and beautiful about America as a country, and we want to emulate a place that you do not have rights in China. You may feel safe on the subway at night, But is that the highest importance? What he's saying and doing is not America first. There's nothing about his messaging. I don't even think he actually understands what an America first truly is.